21 years ago, the Miata single-handedly brought back the roadster category, and it has strayed remarkably little since then. Let's toast Mazda's restraint and check the tech. Like the Mustang, Corvette, and Beetle, the Miata is not just a car, it's a thing. Cars that achieve that status only really have to do one thing, not suck. This retractable hardtop MX-5 is in very little danger of doing that. Unfortunately, you have no factory option for iPod connectivity, Bluetooth streaming, USB, or HD radio. Such is the penalty of the whole classic roadster thing taken perhaps a little too far.
Ah yes, cozy as a Welsh cottage in here. It's small, but that's what a Miata is. That's why it's so much fun on those kind of roads. Let's take a look at the head unit. This is a grand touring car, so we're kind of sitting in the top of the line. There's not a lot going on here. We've got a kind of simple monochrome readout here, which is going to bring you access to your AM/FM radio, Sirius satellite radio, 6-disc in-dash CD changer, and an aux jack down here right next to a 12-volt cigarette-style lighter. That's about it. Not even an iPod connection available in this car, which is unusual. Now notice we have the Bose branding here, which is a good thing because in an open car it's always better to have more sound and better sound. And there's a lot of competing noise. But on top of that we have Audio Pilot from Bose, which is noise cancellation, which I often say, I don't really care. But in an open top car, especially when it's tuned to combat road noise, it's really a nice technology to have. And over here on the phone button, you've got Bluetooth access to your phone as well as pretty good voice command setup to a number of features that are surrounding that. Sirius satellite radio, that is an a la carte add-on, by the way, even on the Grand Touring model. You do have automatic temperature control on this car. Again, it's part of the whole Grand Touring trim. And you've got modes that they recommend that have been tuned for open-top driving. I like that because it's one of the great challenges of an open-top car is getting the flow just right for that cozy, heated, cool outdoors thing. We have the base transmission in this car, which appropriately is a 6-speed manual with short little snicky throws. Just right, I think. The gate's nice and crisp without being kind of bulky or clunky. This is a nice gearbox. There is a 6-speed automatic available. Don't do that. First of all, it's an automatic. Second of all, it puts paddles up here. Third of all, that isn't the idea. Now here's something I just love about the Miata. Mazda has the gall to put a simple 2-liter inline-4 in here. And that's about it. No direct injection, no turbo, no supercharger, no independently variable computer-controlled valve train, just a 2-liter inline-4. That's the kind of engine I had in my first car. Not much has changed. 167 horsepower, 140 foot-pounds of torque. These are not numbers that you see on the cover of car magazines, but it works because they keep the car compact. Oh, and note this. Come here. Look at the engine. Notice the entire bulk of it sits just at or behind the axle line on the front end. That's key to good handling.
Like most cars, the Miata has become chunkier over the years. I'm okay with that, less so with the goofy damn-looking front end, like something straight out of one of those Chevron TV commercials. A few feet behind that dopey grin still lies a very tight cabin. I feel a bit foolish in it, but forget that quickly when I run through a couple gears and delight at the nice low belt line. One of the last cars in the world that accommodates arm-out driving.
Now the reason you buy a Miata with the word FERT in its name is because FERT stands for Power Retractable Hardtop. And this is a nice one. They did it at a very reasonable cost. This car still barely breaks 30. It's all aluminum, doesn't weigh much, important on a car this diminutive. And it goes quickly too, 20 seconds from close to open or vice versa. Gives you real world civility and open road motoring in a big hurry.
Here's Mazda's lasting contribution to common sense engineering. Retract the top and you have the exact same decent sized trunk as when you started. Why is that so hard for some pricey German retractables?
What's the Miata recipe? It's simple. An engine without a lot of bells and whistles, not a lot of power either, but what it's got comes on right now. No spooling up of turbos, no computer has to think. In our case, no transmission has to figure out what gear it's supposed to be in and communicate that to the engine control unit. So that's all direct and simple. The car is short, the wheelbase is short, the weight is managed properly, even though this car's bloated a bit since its early days. This is not the fastest car through a corner, let me tell you. It's not hard on this somewhat choppy pavement. So to get the rear end loose. In fact, to get the front end loose. This whole car is doing the old 1-2 sidestep across some of these choppy turns, but this car is not about maximum performance, it's about maximum enjoyment. That it delivers. Just a blast to drive. All right, deal of the century here is this Grand Touring with the Flirt Power Retractable Hardtop, $29,100 delivered. On top of that, you're going to want this premium package for about $1650. That's going to get you keyless entry, Bluetooth hands-free, Sirius satellite radio, xenon headlights, an alarm system, and a traction control system as well. It's a nice package for the price. Sport suspension is $500. It's a limited slip differential, Bilstein shocks, and sport-tuned springs. Automatic's $1,100. You're not going to do that, are you?
Hi, I'm Molly Wood, host of The Buzz Report, the show about the tech news that everybody's talking about. See it every Friday in high def at cnet.com/buzzreport.